Hi, everybody. My name is Caitlin of The Crown Fox, and this is the weekly wind down. This is where we talk about all things online business related, things like your best ways of working, getting in the right mindset for growth and for success, and all of the other kind of weird little things that come with running an online business. Now, I'm going to start today's talk with making two disclaimers. I am puppy sitting right now, and Will is going to get home any minute, and Puppy is going to freak out. So if you hear Puppy going crazy, his name's Theo, if you hear him going crazy, please disregard. And second disclaimer is my neighborhood seems to be very loud today. Lots of like sirens and things going on. So hopefully nothing gets too distracting. So with those disclaimers aside, let's jump into this week's topic. We are talking about time batching versus time blocking and how you can be your most productive. So if you look up like productivity hacks online, there is no doubt that you will find the phrase batch your time or block your time in numerous blogs and articles. And that's because logically, they both work really well in increasing your productivity. And they're like super catchy and easy to explain and implement. So batching your time means you group together similar tasks like writing blog posts, for example, and you do a lot of them all at once. Blocking is the practice of sectioning off your time to devote to like one certain task. You may think you have to kind of choose one or the other, but in reality, this is a system that kind of works best together. But more importantly, and something that I think isn't emphasized enough, is that they work best when they're used in a way that supports you and your way of thinking and your way of getting stuff done. So yeah, it's not a one-size-fits-all method, as I don't think that really anything is when it comes to online business. It's not, my way or the highway or their way or the highway. It's something that you have to take and adapt and form for you and your business and your best ways of working. So recently, at the start of this year, I took some steps to figure out what was going to be best for me. And I wanted to share with you that process so that you could take it and adapt it and fit it to your own needs. So step number one is a really important one in any kind of, productivity, learning or growing. And that is to start documenting your time. There's a puppy trying to get in. So step one, document your time. This is really, really important. If you are working in like a service-based business, you might already be used to tracking your time for clients, which is something that I'm really used to, but I never tracked time for myself, for my own business, for like outside of my business. I never really took any thought about what else was going on in my day. It was really insightful. I tracked my time for about a week. I think that's a good recommendation. Anything longer than that, you'll probably notice it gets kind of repetitive. So anyways, I tracked it for a week, and it was actually kind of interesting. Instinctually, when I looked over it at the end of the week, I felt a little bit guilty. I was like, oh man, I sleep a lot. I quickly got over that because I think sleep is really important. But yeah, so it was interesting to see. You can use something like Toggle or Harvest to do it. Those are great apps. You can use pencil and paper. I'm going to make a printable this week as the associated freebie, which will go into the new VIP section that I created on my website. If you want to learn more about that, you can subscribe to the weekly wind down and get the password and access to that. So anyways, document all the things. I documented how long I scrolled through Instagram, which was, too long. I documented like how long I spent making and eating food, which actually wasn't very long. I documented how long I spent time, doing any kind of like self-care or personal work, which in my opinion wasn't long enough. And I wanted to document everything in my life and in my business. So I also documented things like how long it took me to write content for these or for blog posts, or how long it takes me to make the free download or to answer emails. And after a week of doing that, I thought there were some really interesting things. Yours will obviously differ. My big key takeaways from it was that I'm spending too much time on social media, shocker. My ratio of client work to my own business work was very distorted, and I didn't really like that idea because I want to work on my business too. And I found that I rarely take enough time to really do like personal work, like journaling and things like that. And all of those I really wanted to change, and I've started implementing some of those things that we've talked about over the past few weeks. taking more time for yourself and everything. So step 2, after you document time, step 2 is to decide what you want to batch. So I'm going to say something that's like kind of dramatic and kind of against the grain for a lot of the articles you'd like see on Pinterest, but I'm not really a huge advocate of team batching. A lot of people are, and it works great for them. And in theory, I think it's really, really great. Like, get all your blog posts done for a year, or schedule your social media like forever, etc. Like, batch all the things. So like my biggest hang up is I have no idea what will be relevant in a year. I might have a business model that's like planned out. I might know what I want to launch, like in Q3 or Q4, but I can't really know what's going to be going on in the world or in my life. And I don't want to be stuck in a plan or stuck in some sort of launch sequence or something that just feels like not relevant or not important or like it doesn't matter. And like everything changes. Maybe Facebook ads won't be cool anymore. Maybe Instagram will shut down. Like, how can you plan that far in advance? I can't. It bothers me. I don't want to be like publishing a blog post about how to drink enough water like the day that Oprah like announces she's going to run for president or something like crazy, hugely impacting. So I don't like batching for that reason. So I know like obviously, advocates for it would say like, yeah, just like adjust and tweak, like it's just an outline. And obviously that was like a really extreme example, but just in general, the whole concept is kind of strange to me. I think when I think about it, it's probably because like I have continually tweaked my business year after year. I've niched down further. I've kind of learned and understood more about myself, and that's reflected changes in my business. But at the end of the day, like I really just can't tell you blog posts for November right now because I can't tell you where I will be mentally, emotionally, even physically. And I can't tell you what's going to be relevant in online business or the rest of the world. So with that little mini rant aside, I don't batch a ton of things. There are things that I do batch in my business and I think are good to batch in your business and in your life. Like a really obvious example is like, if you're going to the grocery store and the gas station's right next to it, like, yeah, like let's just batch up those errands and do them all at once. I do batch like my meetings and my kind of being on the phone days. We've talked about that before. I hate wasting time getting ready and the kind of interruption it causes in my days. So I do push those all together. The 90-day plans that I do, those could probably be considered a form of batching. And I do with those create, a really vague idea of what I might blog about throughout a quarter, but it's really not super specific. The key here really is to decide what's good for you. When you look back at step 1, you're going to see kind of what you're doing throughout a week. And you might see really repetitive tasks that you do every single day that you don't want to do every single day. So go ahead and batch those. A lot of people write blog posts. I have tried that. I used to do it, and I really do struggle with how much energy it takes out of me to write a blog post that if I was to turn around and write another blog post, it would definitely be a pretty crappy blog post. You might be better at that. You might be quicker at writing and getting those thoughts out, but only you know yourself. So obviously do what is best for you. And more importantly, be ready to experiment and test things and evaluate and adjust. So ideas of things that you could batch, like content creating, recording video or audio, scheduling your social media, meetings or client calls, kind of small tasks like creating, quotes for social media, taking stock photos if you take your own. And there are certain client tasks that I could batch. So for me, like I said, I do meetings and client calls usually on Mondays or Wednesdays, and I do batch some of my client work. Like if I'm doing just social media for a client, I'll usually hold off, on doing those and do them all like in one kind of bulk setting. You could make the argument that I batch a lot of client work, but I consider it time blocking, and I'll explain more about that below. And outside of business, I definitely batch things like cooking. We don't like meal prep like cutely like you see on Instagram or anything, but we do like cook a bunch of chicken on Sunday and just eat off of that for a week. That saves us a lot of time and like a lot of time cleaning up after cooking, which is the worst part of cooking. So yeah, that's step 1 and step 2. Step 3 is to create your time blocks. So time blocking and me, we are friends. I love time blocking. It works really great for me because of a few reasons. A, I get really bored really easily. B, I have client work that changes every single day. And, last minute things come up pretty often. And then C, I am a totally different type of worker and output level at like 9 a.m. versus at like 2 p.m. versus at like 8 p.m. And I like to be able to have a schedule that really accommodates that. So time blocking gives me that. So it's the idea that you section off parts of your schedule into blocks, and you stick to those time frames and do designated tasks during those time frames. So I think we've discussed this like fairly often in other posts. I know I've talked about how I have CEO time on Mondays and Fridays and content time designated on Tuesdays and Thursdays. What happened was I looked at the results from step 1 where I documented all of my time. And a big thing that I noticed is that I don't take enough time for my own business. And I really want to take time for my own business. Like that's something that is very important to me. And it's something that has not been important to me in the past. And I've come to realize that I really do value my business and I want to take time for it. So this year that became a higher priority for me. So with blocking, I give myself time every single day to work on my business. And that's great. That's fantastic. It's been working out really, really well. It works better with my personality and my best ways of working. Like the alternative, so if I was doing a batch day and say that I was like recording videos like all day from like 9 to 5, like just recording videos, like that would be cool because, okay, I don't have to do my hair and my makeup once. Like I see the perks there. But like I can almost guarantee the video that I recorded at 9, I will look like a groggy monster. And the video I recorded at 2, I'll be full of energy and pep. And by the time we finish at 5, I will be an anxious little ball of nerves because I'll have so many emails I didn't look at and client work that didn't get done. And, my Toggle app won't say that I actually did anything that like makes money, and that will make me feel really nervous. So those are just kind of, my personality traits. You probably are, a different type of person, but that's a big reason that I kind of avoid giant batch days like that. So instead what I do is block off like 2 to 3 hours in the afternoon, which is my prime productivity time, like 1 to 4 p.m. I am like in a good flow. I block off those hours, which I'm pretty sure is like a Tim Ferriss idea. Like, you just need like 2 or 3 hours to do like one really big important thing. And, around that, I build in time to do, smaller tasks so that I can feel accomplished. So I may only do one like hard or strenuous thing within that peak productivity time, but I still get a bunch of other smaller tasks done, which makes me feel great. So I guess I could just break down my schedule. I don't think that anyone's going to do it exactly as I do. I don't recommend doing it exactly as I do. But basically what it looks like is, in the morning, there's an hour for like me time. I'm really having like a morning ritual is something that is new to me, but something that's really important to me, and I want to maintain that. So from 8 to 9 in the morning is like me time. And then from 9 to 10 is business time, but not client time. So it's time to do like, emails and administrative work and work for the Crown Fox. And then from 10 to 12, I shift into like a bunch of small tasks. So it can be my work or it can be client work. Generally it's client work, but it's small tasks that take like maybe 15 to 30 minutes. It's, answering emails, quick edits to existing stuff, exporting files, graphics that are already templated. And it's probably where I get like the biggest burst of like, yeah, girl, like you did it. Like I did a lot of shit. Like everything's not, crossed off my to-do list because I am like kind of rapid fire going through things. Generally these are like easy tasks for me. Because to be honest, I'm not fully awake yet. Like I don't hit my stride until about 1 p.m. So from like 12 to 1 is kind of like me time / like kind of random unscheduled time. So I'll end up, on social media or in my inbox again, or like tidying around the house. Cause if the house is too messy, I can't function. And then at 1, from 1 to 4 is when I start like the big work time. So this is whenever I do something that's like a big project that's sitting on my plate. And it's my peak productivity time. I am powering through stuff. Most of the time this is spent on client work, though I figure that might adjust, if I come closer to like launching something or doing something for the Crown Fox. And then from 4 to 5 is again like business time. Some days that's for content, some days that's for inbox, some days that's for creating social media graphics for myself or something. And then I try to end my day around 5. If I am really excited about a project or something, I definitely do work in the evening sometimes, but I usually that's only for like fun tasks or tasks that I like have, like something really creative. Like if someone needs me to make a bunch of cute icons or something that's like really fun to me, I sometimes save that and do that in the evening while I'm like watching TV or something. So that's how my calendar kind of looks and flows, and it's, actually color coded and blocked off in my Google Calendar, and it'll say like business or client. And then I block off a couple of like monthly tasks that repeat, time on Sunday is blocked off and it repeats to kind of look at the week ahead and just like mentally prepare myself and set intentions and everything. So I know like those kind of tasks, like you can't batch those. You have to do those like individually each week, right? Or month. So step 4 is a really important one. It's to test, evaluate, and adjust. I think this is the most important thing. You have to find what works best for you. And if you want to continue to do these methods and ideas, I used to think I would write my content on Mondays, but it actually rarely happens. I'm usually in a really good kind of mood and feeling creative over the weekend, and I get inspired and I end up writing my content then. So that was something that I had to adjust kind of mentally, that I wasn't going to prevent myself from being creative and wait till Monday. Like, no, I'm just going to, go with the flow a little bit. So if you want to try, batching, try batching, give it, maybe a quarter, not a full year, and see if it feels right to you, and assess if you end up needing to change from that plan often, or if things, worked and flowed really easily. Or you can try blocking your days and see when you're your most productive, but be prepared that that may all change in the next season of your life or business. I think that boils down really to like my number one tip and lesson about all of this, is that I've learned that, unfortunately, maybe no article on Pinterest or person talking on a video is going to be, is going to have the exact perfect solution for you or your business or your life. And the best bet is really to take things in, absorb it, and kind of mold it to fit your own needs for your life and for your business. So, I've given you a glimpse into kind of my ideas about batching and blocking and how it works best for me and my business. But take these ideas, do an assessment of your week and see how your time is being spent, and create a plan for yourself, and then test it and see if it works good, and adjust it and tweak it until you find the right blend. So I think that covers everything. I think we avoided any crazy noises, so that was good for this video. If you have any thoughts about time blocking or time batching or just general productivity kind of ideas or anything like that, I'd love to hear your input. Feel free to leave a comment here on Facebook or on YouTube when I upload this to YouTube later. And yeah, if you liked this discussion, we're doing this every week. It's the weekly wind down. You can sign up. It's thecrownfox.com/join to get notifications about it and access to some cool freebies. And yeah, that's about it for me. I hope that you have a great rest of your week, and I will talk to you soon.